Title: An Unexpected Turn. Chapter 1: An Unexpected Encounter. I have always believed that the best love stories begin with an unexpected twist. If someone had told me that I would fall from the bicycle in front of the most handsome boy in the office, I would have thought they were joking. But there I was, in the middle of the sidewalk, with my face as red as a tomato. After an epic stumble. Clear. I like to think that my clumsiness has its own charm, but that day, the charm completely failed me. Camden, the boy from the office who always seems to have everything under control, stopped in front. He saw me in the blink of an eye. He had that air of confidence that only some manage to convey, but to be honest, it made me feel clumsier than I already was. "Are you all right?" he asked, offering I held his hand, and for a moment I forgot how to breathe. It was something that happened often between us. We knew each other, of course, but we had never had more than short conversations at meetings. Without embargo, since that day, something changed. He was no longer just the handsome boy from the office, to me. He became Camden, the man who, for some reason, seemed to know exactly how to make my heart walk a little faster. "Yes, of course, I'm fine. Just, this isn't what I thought would happen this morning," I replied, trying to make a joke to soften the moment. Camden laughed softly, and it was then that I knew that perhaps there was something more to him than just his perfect image. That day, the office never felt so warm, perhaps because Camden, unknowingly, had decided to take me out a smile even when all I wanted to do was sink into the floor in shame. Chapter 2: The First Date. Emergency. After that little accident, things between Camden and I they returned. Strange. It's as if that shared clumsiness had created a kind of bond between us, but it also made us both feel as if we were walking on eggshells. Egg. But at the same time, there was something in the way he looked at me, something I couldn't ignore. One afternoon, after the office, Camden invited me for coffee. But it wasn't a conventional invitation, Onal. No, your version was more like a mixture between an accidental chat and a question that, although it seemed casual, was not at all. "Would you like to go have coffee with me?" "No, wait, that your Ena as a quote, is it?" he said, with a crooked smile. Of course, I felt completely out of place. Coffee with Camden? The boy who made my cheeks turn red without effort, Erzo? I, Betty, who always ended up saying something strange or acting like I was on the wrong stage. But somehow, I agreed. We met in a small cafe that Camden there had chosen. The place was cozy, with soft lights and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filling the air. But the best part was that Camden seemed relaxed, something I never imagined seeing. It was like, yes, somehow, the two of us were in a space where there was no room for pretensions. "I never thought you would be one of those who ask for a latte," said Camden, while watching me drink a sip of my drink. "And what did you think I would order?" I replied, raising an eyebrow. I knew the word game was already underway. "I don't know, something more sophisticated, perhaps." "A triple espresso, see. On almond milk and little foam." Camden laughed at his own joke. To tell the truth, it was the first moment in which I felt truly comfortable with him. I realized that, despite being incredibly handsome and always well dressed, Camden was not a man of many formalities. He was fun and genuine, which made me feel an instant connection. As the conversation flowed, I began to realize something else. Perhaps I wasn't as nervous about being with him as I thought. Chapter 3: The Little Things. A few weeks passed since that first coffee, and although our relationship, it was still, in many aspects, something fragile, but she no longer felt uncomfortable. We began to share laughter in the office hallways, jokes in meetings, and even small gestures, like the coffee that he left me at my desk in the mornings. They weren't grand gestures, but they were enough to keep the spark alive. One afternoon, while we were walking toward the elevator, Camden made an observation. Action that surprised me. "Do you know? You resemble me more than you think." He said it so casually that it almost made me stumble. "You? In what sense?" I asked, laughing, unable to avoid it. "Tienes esa forma de hacer las cosas a tu manera, sin preocuparte demasiado por lo que los demás piensen." "Yo también soy así", respondió, mirándome con esa sonrisa traviesa que me hacía sentir como si I was seeing someone completely different. It was a moment when I felt that Camden and I were not so different after all. Things between us were no longer just a series of coincidences, as clumsy, but a real connection. And somehow, there was something in those small moments that told me this could be the beginning of something bigger. Maybe it was chemistry, or maybe destiny, but I knew I couldn't let it go. Chapter 4. The final twist. Not everything is perfect, right? Like in any romantic story, there's always a twist that changes things. After a few weeks, more than jokes and coffees, Camden did something that, honestly, I didn't expect. One Friday night, as we were leaving the office, he invited me to an event. But it wasn't just any event, it was a farewell party for a coworker. Would you like to go with me? He asked, with a shy smile. At that moment, my heart skipped a beat. Was he really inviting me to a party? She real? Was this the big step? She was terrified. But at the same time, she couldn't deny that something inside her wanted to say yes. Sure, but I warn you that I'm a disaster at parties. Respondee, knowing that there was no turning back. And that is how I found myself finally accepting that sometimes what we fear most is what we really need. Camden was not only a handsome boy, oh so fun, he was someone who, somehow, had managed to make my life take a unexpected turn. Sometimes, love doesn't arrive in the way we expect. Sometimes, it's clumsy and strange. But, at final, it is just what we need. And